Mike Sonko running in Mombasa is not a local issue. It's not a Mombasa County issue. It is an issue that affects the entire country, national politics, in more ways than you can ever imagine. That is what my show is about today. And in this video, there's a lot of information that will just floor you. Yeah, I'm sure. From my latest information from the ground, oh yes, I'm already covering these general elections very intensively. From that information I'm getting back, yeah, which floored me, and I'm sure will also floor you, to the background, yeah, behind this Sonko candidature in Mombasa, of all places. Karibu sana. Now the usual quick question, yeah, from my book, Let the Blood Flow. We were told, yeah, this was in the public domain, that somebody in government, deep inside government, yeah, a very powerful man, imported arrows from a foreign country, which were used in tribal clashes. Yeah. Ati Chris umesema nini? Yes, you heard me right. You have the option of rewinding to make sure you heard right. Now, do you know who this individual was? Because this is an individual very well known to all Kenyans. And he was named. And the country from which the arrows were imported from was named. Do you have the answer to those questions? Stay with me until the end and I'll give you the shocking answer. But for now, let's get this show on the road. Enjoy. The entry of former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko into the gubernatorial race for Mombasa County has kicked up quite a storm. Now, let us start with some information that many Kenyans may not have. Because I've had some people claim that who does Mike Sonko think he is? He doesn't have as much influence in Mombasa as he has in Nairobi. What is Mike Sonko up to? Now, one reason to suspect why that allegation is totally false is to look at the reaction of Azimio to the entry of Mike Sonko. Yeah. For instance, the reaction of handlers of the Azimio candidate, yeah, Bwana Nassir, Abdulswamad Nassir, yeah, who is the current MP for Mvita, Mombasa. Those guys are running scared. And they can't be running scared for nothing. You see, Mike Sonko was born in Mombasa. Huyu ni mtoto wa Likoni. He was brought up in Likoni area. Yeah, that's just after you cross the ferry. For those who have ever visited Mombasa or are familiar with it. Likoni is a densely populated area. Yeah, I don't call it a slum because it's not exactly that. But it's close to that. Very densely populated. And hosts virtually all communities you can think of from the country called Kenya. I once lived there myself. Yeah. And looking back, I can say without hesitation, the happiest 3 years of my life. Yeah, because the atmosphere there is vibrant, wonderful. People are friendly. things are cheap. Yeah, people are just happy. Now, to put this thing in proper perspective, let me put it like this. Mike Sonko amerudi nyumbani, ama ameenda Gishagi, because that's the truth. That is the reality of this situation. Then there's another bit of information you need, in order to make a fair analysis of this whole development. Mike Sonko has invested heavily in Mombasa County. He has purchased a house for his mother, I believe in a place called Kiembeni. And yes, Mike Sonko has helped a lot of people in Mombasa. Mike Sonko is so popular in Mombasa that he must start as a top contender, a favorite to win this gubernatorial race. That is the reality, political reality. But just hold on a minute. Mike Sonko is vying on a Wiper ticket, the Wiper party. And the Wiper party is part of Azimio. And Abdulswamad Nassir is an ODM candidate and also the choice of the Azimio coalition. So what's going on here? I mean, Azimio wamejipanga vizuri sana mji mkuu wa Kenya, Nairobi County. Lakini mbona hawajajipanga huko Mombasa? Well, that is where the controversy, that is where the manenos actually start. Because Mike Sonko has told us very clearly, and he has repeatedly told those who have asked him, hey, Sonko, what is happening? What are you doing? He has responded to all of them with one name. Kalonzo Musyoka. He has repeatedly said that it is Kalonzo who set him up, sent him to Mombasa to vie, has supported him, urged him on in Mombasa to vie for the gubernatorial seat. So what is really going on here? Because Kalonzo is supposed to be in Azimio. We know that he's pestering and nagging and being very annoying, insisting that he must be Baba's running mate. And we also know that Baba will do no such thing. We know all that. So what is Kalonzo trying to do? Is he trying to fix the Azimio coalition from the inside? Is he trying to do what Baba himself did to KANU in 2002 when his party merged with KANU, and when KANU decided to choose Uhuru Kenyatta as a presidential candidate to take over from Moi? Raila led a revolt from within that brought down the mighty KANU. Indeed, some politicians put it very hilariously, and they said the cockerel, that is the symbol for the KANU party, has always been the Jogoo, swallowed the tractor. That was Raila Odinga's symbol at the time, and it swallowed the tractor successfully. But then somebody forgot to switch off the tractor inside the stomach of the cockerel. Na tractor ikaendelea kuchimba na kuchimba na kuchimba, ikaribu the whole insides of this Jogoo, and it just fell down dead. Very hilarious illustration. So is Kalonzo Musyoka trying to finish Azimio from the inside? Actually, many analysts I respect believe that this is exactly what the objective of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is. And it is very difficult to disagree with this view. Because let's face it, what is the Sonko candidature in Mombasa doing? It's going to split the Azimio votes. Yeah, that's what's going to happen immediately. And there's a very high likelihood, because ndugu zangu kule pwani are very emotional people, there is a very high likelihood that it will also split the votes of Raila Odinga in Mombasa County. In other words, some votes that would have gone to Raila will simply fly away elsewhere, most likely to the UDA presidential candidate, William Samoei Ruto. And this is the way it will happen. People know that Bwana Nassir, the ODM candidate, is very close to Baba. And when Baba lands in Mombasa, you know what's going to happen? He is going to campaign for Bwana Nassir against Sonko. And therefore it will be very easy for those many voters who vote for Sonko to say to themselves and to each other, let us teach Baba a lesson. We're going to vote for Sonko and we're going to vote for Ruto. Oh yes. Now in my opinion, this situation is a perfect watermelon situation. Kalonzo doesn't like that nickname. Yeah. But the truth is, he continues to confirm and reconfirm that tag that was put on him. Because can you tell me, for instance, if you're denying that watermelon tag, tell me, which side is Kalonzo Musyoka on? Just answer that simple question. Because if you tell me that Kalonzo is in Azimio, I'm going to rubbish that by telling you that everything Kalonzo has done since he joined Azimio has been to bring down the party. His tactic within this coalition has been chafua chafua. Chafua chafua bila huruma. Yeah, because when you start complaining and insisting that you want to be the deputy president, what are you doing? Are you fostering unity within the coalition? Or are you doing the exact opposite? Because when you start insisting and you say, no, nothing else is acceptable, the Wiper Party shall accept nothing less than the running mate position. What are you doing when you do that? And you're doing this when you know very well that you came in very late into Azimio. And you know very well that what you're doing is rubbishing and destroying the well-laid plans of Raila as he prepares himself for the general elections, as he prepares himself and the Azimio chaps for the general elections. Which leads us to the other very shocking thing that we now must consider. And let me start like this. Let us ask ourselves a very simple question. All that Kalonzo is doing, and even this Sonko candidature in Mombasa, who is it going to benefit the most? Simple question. Please give me a simple answer. Because the answer is obvious. It will benefit a man called William Samoei Ruto. And so the obvious question to ask next is this. Is Kalonzo Musyoka working for William Samoei Ruto? Because all the evidence before us seems to suggest this, as crazy as it may sound. Indeed, we have seen Ruto using this very same identical strategy at the coast. Remember Nyali constituency in 2017? The deputy president used a man called Muhammad Ali, former KTN journalist, fully financed him to vie for that seat on an ODM ticket. And even when it was very clear to Muhammad Ali and all his handlers that the ODM High Command had noticed who was financing Muhammad Ali and therefore did not want him to vie on an ODM ticket, for obvious reasons. Even when they knew that for a fact, what did they do? They continued with their chafua tactics, complaining to ODM, complaining how Muhammad Ali had been rigged out, and giving us a lot of evidence to prove that Ali Hassan Joho was doing everything in his power to keep Muhammad Ali out of getting the ODM nomination. And as a result, there are many Kenyans, including me, who got very upset with the Baba and Joho. What are these guys up to? Why do they hate Muhammad Ali so much? So their chafua tactics worked 100% when they knew very well Muhammad Ali and Ruto, what they were up to and what they were doing. You see, it's only that Kalonzo Musyoka has not played his cards perfectly. He has overplayed, because had he played his cards carefully, by now Kenyans all over the country would be having a lot of sympathy for Kalonzo Musyoka. They would be saying, this is a man who was stuck with Baba since 2013. Why are they frustrating him like this? Refusing him the deputy president slot, or running mate slot. And he deserves it, because he has stuck with Baba through thick and thin. That's what Kenyans would have been saying right now. But Kalonzo overplayed. He complained so much that it became annoying. A very annoying nuisance. Okay? But my point is, these tactics are familiar. And everything we have before us suggests that this is a UDA move. It is in Azimio. All the players are in Azimio. But it looks like a UDA move. A UDA chess move. To fix Azimio in Mombasa. In fact, if you step back, put on your thinking cap, and carefully analyze every single move Kalonzo Musyoka has made in recent times, it will become very obvious that every single move he has made has been the kind of move that favors UDA. If it was only once, it could be a coincidence. If it was twice, okay, you could still give him the benefit of the doubt. But if it is this many times, repeatedly, again and again, I am afraid it now becomes obvious that Kalonzo Musyoka, at the very least, is sympathetic to the UDA party. And the Kenya Kwisha, and the Kenya Kwanza alliance. My apologies. When you hear this slogan so many times, they tend to stick in the head. Kenya Kwanza. That's the name of the coalition of DP Ruto and his people. So, what is the good news here for the Azimio people? I'm afraid there is no good news. It is all very bad news for Azimio in Mombasa. And the news I'm getting on the ground from Mombasa is suggesting to me that hii kitu itachukuliwa na UDA via their candidate in the Wiper Party within Azimio. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. You see, the reason why Joho has won 2 terms, Ali Hassan Joho, the outgoing Mombasa governor, is simply because he has been successful in downplaying the tribal card, and appealing to all at the coast, all in Mombasa, to abandon tribal thinking and think as a Mombasa resident. And he has succeeded. Now, the UDA tactics countrywide are to play the tribal card, chini ya maji. And this balance already is being upset. Because what people are saying is that hao ni Waarabu, referring to Abdulswamad Nassir and Joho, who of course is supporting Nassir to take over from him. Now, those of us who know Kenya well are very much aware of the fact that ukiamusha hii shetani inaitwa tribe, it can wreak havoc. And I'm afraid that is what seems to be happening in Mombasa. Yeah. And all things considered, Sonko will win in Mombasa, if elections were held today. The only good news, it seems that this thing of voting 6-piece suit from MCA all the way to president may not be very common in these elections. Or put it in another way, may not be as common as it was in 2017. In other words, Mombasa County will vote for Raila, president. Overwhelmingly. Yeah. However, they'll vote Sonko for governor. Which brings us to a super fascinating national issue that I want to bring up. A trend I'm seeing emerging, from all the information I'm gathering. And for today, let me just stick to the coastal region with my examples. In neighboring Kwale County, the outgoing governor, Salim Mvurya, is extremely popular. The man has changed Kwale. Yeah. It looks like a very different county for those who have known it through the years. Tarmac roads, dramatically improved health services, and then the Mvurya initiative that is causing Kwale voters to shed tears and say, yani huyu mtu hawezi kurudishwa tena mara ya tatu. Tafadhalini, hamwezi kurudisha huyu mtu mara ya tatu. That initiative is in the education sector. You see, the Kwale County government has had a policy since 2013 of sponsoring any primary school student who sits for the KCPE within Kwale County to high school, even to national high schools. Yeah, as long as you get 350 marks, which is not very high, you will be fully sponsored. Now, Kwale is very poverty stricken. So what has been happening in the past is that very bright students called to national schools like Kenya High, Alliance Boys, Mangu, etc., have not been able to take up their positions. Yeah, because their parents can't afford. Some of these parents can't even afford the bus fare to Bara. And so this Mvurya program has put countless children in the county into national schools. Now, this has also had the effect of lifting up the performances of schools in Kwale. For instance, there is a school called Masimbani Primary School, which is in a very remote area of the county, an impoverished area. Yeah. And in the latest exams, this small rural school was, wait for this one, number 7 in the entire country. Now, politically, what this means is that we have enough voters in Kwale County who will not be swayed by anybody or anything. They will vote Mvurya anytime, anywhere. And they will also vote a Mvurya candidate anywhere, at any time. And at the moment, the governor is fronting the lady who has been his deputy, the current deputy governor, to take over from him, and is telling voters, if you want this program you love so much to continue, if you want Mvurya to continue, then this is the person to elect. My current deputy, who saw everything I did and will continue, atafuata nyayo zangu. And that thing is selling like hotcakes. to voters. Therefore, I want to make an early prediction. The gubernatorial seat for the county called Kwale will go to UDA. Yeah, because Mvurya and his deputy belong to the UDA party. Wheelbarrows, pesa mfukoni, bottoms up, they belong to that party. Upende, usipende. And that is the party that is going to win, hands down, in Kwale. I also predict that Raila Odinga, this time round, may have some difficulties in that county, courtesy of Salim Mvurya and his influence. And if he wins, according to the information I have before me at this point in time, if Raila wins that county, he'll win it narrowly. Now I think you already see where I'm going with this. Yeah, the national issue is this. Can you picture a situation where Raila Odinga wins the presidency? Yeah, by a landslide. But then he ends up with a parliament that is majority the other side. He ends up with governors, majority the other side. Because, my friends, that is how it is looking. Because you see, Ruto has a killer strategy. He has focused on strong candidates countrywide. Most of the people who have been given a UDA direct ticket don't listen to people. Most of the people whom Ruto has engineered to fly the UDA flag are very strong candidates on the ground. They are people who are most likely to win. Granted, he started this game much earlier than his competitors. He started in 2013. Yeah, kupanga watu in every constituency in the country you can think of. In every county, the country you can think of. And of course he has not had 100% success rate because he has competitors. But his success rate, yeah, considering all the hard work he has put in for such a long time, is going to be significant. That one you cannot deny. So maybe Baba will have a hard time in case he wins the presidency. He may find himself in a situation where there are difficulties in governing. Of course, difficulties that are not very different from the difficulties President Uhuru Kenyatta has been facing, yeah, since 2018. In fact, since earlier than that, whereby a majority of the legislators in parliament are allied or have reason or have favors to return to the deputy president. So that when a bill comes before the house, Ruto has it. That has been the reality. But of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta has managed, using state machinery and using some very smart handlers, he has managed it. So maybe Raila too will manage it. And of course, Raila will have an advantage. He will have the experience and the advice right beside him of our current president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is going to remain in politics as the party leader of Jubilee, yeah, and indeed the leader of the Azimio coalition. Now I know this is very bad news for Azimio people, Azimio supporters, but it is a possibility. Those of us who want to analyze politics honestly, yeah, without emotion, it is a possibility that we must consider. Because what is on the ground, that is what it is showing us. Because we cannot bury our heads in the sand. Already, with the governor Mombasa in his pockets, and with the governor Kwale, a UDA candidate, things in Mombasa, yeah, at least in Mombasa and the South Coast, will not be very easy for President Raila Odinga. That should be clear. Now, of course, I must add a disclaimer. Raila is a very crafty, experienced politician. It is quite possible that he can turn the tables, and deny Kwale a continuity of a very good program, a very good game-changing program that will change forever the face of Kwale. It's possible that Raila can succeed in doing that and get an Azimio governor elected in Kwale. It is also possible that Bwana Nassir can win Mombasa thanks to Raila's experience and his contacts on the ground, etc., etc. That is very possible. You know, the biggest mistake you can make as an analyst is to underestimate Raila Odinga. I assure you that one you'll always live to regret. And therefore I will not underestimate Baba. But I'm just giving you the cold facts from the ground as they stand. I hope you understand that. Now, to answer the question I posed at the beginning, from my book, Let the Blood Flow. We were told by Burudi Nabwera, who was an insider in the office of the president, that President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi and his very close associates, Biwott, etc., etc., imported arrows from South Korea, which were used to maim Kenyans during clashes, tribal clashes, during Moi's administration. You know, tribal clashes in Kenya really took off when the country returned to multi-party politics. And during Moi's last 2 terms as president, the elections in the run-up to those 2 terms always had serious clashes. And therefore we can say that these political clashes, always just before an election, were invented by Moi. For political reasons, or to put it another way, for political survival. And I'd greatly recommend my book. You can see details on your screens right now. Let the Blood Flow, which gives you a lot of inside information on those clashes. Many of you have already taken full advantage of the current special offer. And there's still a small, very small, and getting smaller window of opportunity for you to take it up, if you haven't already. Right. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thanks so much for sharing my videos so widely on social media all over the place. I am so grateful. Please continue to do that, because it helps me and it helps all of us in our mandate to fight for a better Kenya by ensuring that we get a lot of information out there, so that people can see through politicians. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.